To do the following. You have to set up a microphone, run it to said input that I tell you. If you have to patch it, then you must patch it into said channel on the board. There will be a session up in Pro Tools. Make sure, one, all your inputs and outputs are correct, that they're coming into the board properly, that each of your channels are set properly. So for the recorded channels, there's like 6 recorded channels already, and then you'll be added one that you'll be recording out there. So make sure your 6 channels are in what mode? Line, which says what on the board?
Mon.
The other channel will be in what mode?
Mic,
which says what on the board?
Chan.
And you want what where?
The chop
at the
after the
right
input.
At the input. And how do we do that?
There's 2 ways. From the center section, or you can do it from right here.
Okay, source select in the chop, right? Or the center section. First, you must select the channel, of course. Just remember that. So then, what do we need to do beyond the channel strip here? So what's your signal flow?
Or you want to put it in the dual?
Well, you need to activate phantom power if it's a condenser.
Well, you need to activate phantom power. Where do you do that?
In the center section, you gotta make sure the channel's selected.
Okay.
You gotta make sure the master fader's up.
Well, before that, what do we need to do? Make sure what's up.
Make sure the gain trim is up and the fader's up.
The individual faders are up. Flows through the board. You need to make sure the master fader's up and turned on. And how do we do that?
Hold mix A right.
Where it goes.
3 buttons. Hold the
fader.
No,
hold the button right
this
there,
one?
and then
yeah,
the fader.
and then hit fader.
And it lights up.
And then it'll go up. What's the next step in our signal flow?
Make sure mix A is selected.
Mix A is selected, but also
coming through the channels.
you send all the individual channels to mix A, right? So how would you do that?
You have to select them and then mix A in the bus section.
So select all. Just say we were doing all.
Mix A.
To mix A.
Okay. So you're coming in, mix A.
When you did the fader, it was this and this, right? Yep. AFL.
The bottom one.
After fader listen, then fader.
Mix A, B, and C. And then
AFL is different.
Up on the right.
Yeah, AFL is this button.
Yeah.
Oh, this is mix A, boom, and then we just hit the fader.
So after that, you would select your speakers depending on which set your Adams or the Yamahas or Dynos, right? You have your level here. So the next thing you would have to do is set up the headphone amp, right? So you would set the Aviom up out there, and you would send them a Q mix off of QA.
Right.
So how would we do that?
You come over to QA and make sure it's up and on. And then you got
with however many channels you would create your own little blend.
And then
when you have to
fold back A.
And make sure that it's selected at fold back A.
Fold back A, you are sending QA.
QA.
Okay, fold back A, QA.
No, that's only doing. And it's just plugging the cable from the Aviom into the box here, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Yes, we're not making an individual pass. If I made the test, you'd probably have to do that, but you guys are getting off fairly easy.
Well, it's not that hard.
Huh?
You just have to. What you mean with the pass?
Fucking tempter. Just leave it alone.
Alright, so then the next thing I ask you to do is send reverb off of one of the effects, so just say effects 1 off the channel that we're recording to both mix A and the Q send. So how do we do that?
Turn it on.
Turn it up.
So we turn effects 1 up.
And
it goes to where?
It goes to the return.
No, where does it go before?
Oh, well, it goes to the reverb unit.
Goes to the reverb unit. So if I asked you to change the reverb setting, right? Which engine are we using?
E1.
E1.
So E1.
For stereo return 1.
If I asked you to select some reverb, you would go to the library. You know, if large worm hall, recall, and it sets that reverb in. So then you would then see whatever's coming into here, your inputs going out, your outputs, and then it goes where?
To the returns.
To the return. So if I tell you effects 1, send, then it goes to stereo return 1, so on and so forth. So from stereo return 1, how do we send it to both the foldback A and mix A?
You gotta make sure foldback A is selected and then do the little combo thing and select mix A. Hit clear first.
Oh, clear?
Yeah.
And then do we select these?
Well, hit clear again.
Clear again.
You hold those down.
Now
Hold them
hit
both
them.
together.
Now
And then
Now hit the AFL button.
the AFL button.
The AFL on the
on
bottom.
this one?
Yeah.
Hold
and
that.
then
No, hold it.
Hold it.
Hold it in, and it
Mix
says
A.
stereo 1. That's how you know it's working. And then you hit
Mix A
mix A.
on the bus routing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there.
Right there. So then you will see mix A
Lit up.
illuminated.
And now we have to do the same thing for the Q.
Q is separate. Where's Q? How do you turn that on?
Oh,
You have to select
Foldback A.
Foldback A,
And
right?
turn that up.
Foldback.
foldback A,
Yep, that's it.
and that just sends it. Okay,
That's it.
cool.
Now, if you wanted to make sure that reverb's coming back, how would you test it?
You mean besides listening
You should be able
to it?
hear it coming through.
Well, you should, but if you wanted to solo it by itself. So say you were just sending it out there, you didn't have a pair of headphones, how would you listen to in here?
Well, the monitors,
you don't
you
have
can
to do
select
this on
foldback
the
A.
thing.
You can select the foldback on the monitors.
Oh, to check the Q send?
If you hit AFL,
Right.
it would
Oh,
solo
okay.
that. Okay, but you have to make sure you're no longer in that whole thing because it's still in your select mode.
Oh.
That's where it flips back and forth.
After we set it, we should just clear it. I mean, like,
Yeah.
so it's not in
Yeah.
that.
So yes, once you set all that, then you would have to, I would test a headphone mix. You record a signal into Pro Tools at a good level, and then we would have to play it back. So what do we have to change for playback?
Change it from channel to monitor.
Channel to mon, or we can do what?
Was it was like the one we're
Split
recording?
mode.
We can put in
Right.
mode. So, if you guys, this is where, you can do it either way. You
When we
can
first set up
say-
the extra channel, we could set it in split mode.
Yeah, so
instead of mic.
Select some channel. Alright, let's put it
It's not
in,
selected
now
yet.
clear.
There you go.
Alright, so we can put that in channel.
Yeah.
We would have it, the chop at the input, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then we could say automatically to put it in split mode. So that recorded channel would go in the split mode. You don't have to worry about switching back and forth.
Right.
Mhm.
So, this is always a good practice when, so you don't have to worry about switching back and forth. But if you don't put it in the split mode,
Right.
what you would have to, it's not selected.
No. If you hit the source select while it's in split mode,
It goes out
it goes out.
because you have to have the chop at the input
Right.
for split to work. So otherwise you would just have to come here and hit line. Either way you do it, I don't care. But just know that it is easier in practice just to put it in split mode.
Mhm. Mhm. I'm agreeing.
Loudly.
Okay, so
Mhm.
once you replay that, everything's working fine. You've got through all that. Then all you need to do is do a mix pass. So it's just knowing the menus at this point. If it, it's not working, hopefully, something will click in the meantime. But so SSL auto would be your automation, but you must make sure you're in the right project first.
Right.
So
We have to make a
I'll
new project,
probably have you make a project, which means you would go directly in the project, you would have to go out, right? So you go back into your list mode,
Right.
and then you would say new project. So create a new
Wait.
project.
We can go through
Go
all
back
that.
to SSL again real quick.
We are in
So
SSL.
No, I mean go back to the main like plugin control window where it started.
This.
So then you hit SSL.
Yes.
Okay, and then it should
Hit
bring
project.
up.
Then
But
new
most
project.
likely
A project's loaded.
you're gonna already
It'll already
be in
be
a
in.
project.
So you gotta
So
go back.
make sure you realize what it says at the top in green, because that's always going to tell you what project you're in. So, you know, if you're in a project, it's going to come up like this. You're most likely going to have to go out of that project and then go create a new project. So then once you create the project, you would select that project. Then you most likely would have to select it again before it comes up in the green itself.
And that's where we have to open from the doc that control whatever thing.
Yes,
and
the doc and rename it.
Right.
So you can rename your project at that point. Then you would go into automation and you would say, yes, new mix, protect. One, I would probably just say, you know, I'm not really going to tell you to go and take certain faders out of protect, you know, but just know that when you're in practice, protect, select which ones, yes, and if it's not red, it's not in write mode. And then you would just go execute, play. It should lock time code, even if it's not. Just act like it is, right? You would move some faders around, blah, blah, blah. Press N, press stop. It will create your mix. So you knew that because you were in mix enabled. Now if we were going to go into that mix again and execute, you're now in mix running mode. That's
so after execute, you hit end,
ways you know.
and then how do you execute it? I'm sorry.
Wait, to play back, it would say mix review, wouldn't it?
Yes. So, alright. Create a new mix. New mix. Act like we're just going to execute. Play a little bit, blah, blah, blah.
Mix it.
Stop.
Automate
mix
it.
End. Press an end will
save it
and go back, right?
Okay.
So now you have a mix one. So.
Then listen to it. You just.
So listen to it. You would just go through
select
the same setup. Now it's in mix review when you play.
Oh, okay.
So right now you see that it's actually has a couple faders here. These are your group faders. So we have our first group up. That's why we see this one. Here you see mix A and mix B. I guess mix B is up. So if we put that down, it would go away. Yeah. So you actually just put that down because I don't think that's put that fader down. Alright. So that's why you see that. But yes, time code would run. You would just end it. We'd get out of that menu. Last thing you would do is just total recall. So from there you're still in that project, so you would go total recall and store a pass.
Right.
So you would store it, rename it, that's it.
And you rename it back in the doc thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So each one I will ask you to rename it.
Right.
Last thing you'll do is bring up normalization project. So yes, you have to go back in the project, back, and then find that project. Did I pass it? There it is. Select that. See, the first time you select it, it doesn't actually select it, so you did it twice. Now you're in the project, and then you can go through normalization. So you guys have to do this anyway. So.
And then, how do you unlatch everything? Select. Wait, set select.
Yes. All non-latching buttons. Set select.
Set all. That's it. You just hit it twice.
Was the project saved?
Yeah, resave it.
And that's everything?
And that's everything.